Online, I'm audible. So we'll start this discussion. How was the questions? Hope most of the questions may look tough, but most of the questions are from current affairs actually. For past within 2 to 3 years. So based on incidents. And every doubt where you don't find it in Lakshmikant, you can put it in the newspaper, you can find it. For example, the question paper of Chief Minister, one is from Tamil Nadu, the third option is from Sikkim. And arrest of ministers, that is from Maharashtra. And then Rajya Sabha disqualification and other aspects with regard to Venkaiah Naidu attempting to suspend few members. So everything was from current affairs. So you would only understand that. If you have any doubts on that, you can just check about what is it in the newspaper, then if at all. So you may be wondering, most of the questions are not from Lakshmikant, but that much of incident is there. On Monday, I have requested my faculty, Mr. Balasubramanian, who is going to discuss geography, to show you how history and current affairs are related, how previous year questions of history are related to current affairs. He will show you newspaper article because they know to work more in computer. So they will, I speak, they will show you with cut and paste from newspaper and others. So Monday also you just attend and start understanding how. So disappearing UPSC is one important aspect when it comes to, and Aram's question paper will be like this. If polity, 10 questions you can attend from Lakshmikant and others. Rest of the 10 is where we will give you training for that. This surprise is what the real-time experience is. Assuming if you read Lakshmikant and come, and all the questions are from Lakshmikant, then there is not going to be an element of surprise for you. And how UPSC is different is every year he gives you a surprise. I am watching, as I said, the question paper right from 2004 for last 15 years, and every year it is a surprise. Only thing is that we can see certain uniformity in it. For example, did you saw at home that from 2000 to 2005, there were a lot of questions from sports, 1 or 2 or 3 questions from sports. Did you verify it? Okay, similarly, they have repeated it again. That's it. So there were previously, they used to ask from personalities and awards. They have again started to repeat it. So this is what is important when it comes to preparation for civil justice prelims is concerned. Now we will go into the discussion. Which of the following is considered to be the pitfalls of Indian Parliament? Answer. All the 5. So this is basically a mains question. Mains, they have asked you a question. Last year, did you saw effectiveness of Indian Parliament? Did you saw effectiveness of Indian Parliament? To answer that question, first thing what we need to know is what are the fundamental functions of Parliament? How many of you can list out the fundamental functions of Parliament? You can categorize into 5. 1 is making of law. 2 is control over executive. 3 is financial sanction. 4 is arbitration of interest. 5 is authentic source of information. When all these 5 functions are not being performed properly, we can say the Parliament is not performing properly. So this is how the questions of UPSC are for prelims and mains. If you are strong in fundamentals, you can manage at least a substantial sum of questions. So answer is. That is minimum. But have you noticed for the last 10 years, there is a general decline? Have you visited PR's website? What is actually expected is, originally, the constitution says you should not skip 6 months. So the mandate is that minimum 2 sittings per year. But that does not restrict you from sitting for more number of times. Rather, we had said during Jawaharlal Nehru period or during 1980s or during Vajpayee's period, we have set a tradition where you are sitting for more number of days. Now it has been reduced by 40%. So then what does that mean? When an authority does not sit on for performing its function, it does not perform the functions. That is what the meaning is. Answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Consider the following statements regarding question hour. 1. It is an effective parliamentary device which is made use by most members of the House to exercise control over executives. This is the only device nearly all members have used. You know why is it in current affairs? During budget session, they have cancelled the question hour. During question hour, a question can be asked to a private member who is not a minister. True, yes. Exceptionally, when the speaker permits. If the speaker permits, you can ask. If a minister provides factually wrong statement, then it shall be referred to the Committee on Government Assurance. Yes or no? Committee on Privilege. Government assurance is about when I promise something I does not do. If I lie before the House, is it not violation of a privilege? Can you understand what I say? So this is the catch in the question. One is a private member. All of you have concentrated on private member and casually taken this question. Casually taken a third point. So answer is A. Parliament are indispensable institution providing which are the following. This is a pattern of question where all the four is right. You have to choose the best of all. What? Representative democracy. Consider the following statement. The provisions regarding the creation of local legislature or council of ministers are both for union territories under Article 398A will be applicable to both Jammu Kashmir and Puducherry. Yes. Seats shall be reserved in the legislature of Jammu and Kashmir for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe based on their population. Yes. The Lieutenant Governor of Jammu Kashmir can nominate 2 women members to the Legislative Assembly if he feels women are not adequately represented. Yes. Article Section 15 of Jammu Kashmir Reorganization Act. Only legislature which can do is Jammu Kashmir. And Jammu Kashmir Act may say, they will not ask the section, but I'm just telling it for you for sake of reference so that you can easily search, or else you have to search Section 15 of Jammu Kashmir Reorganization Act. Directly gives the provision of it. Section 14 is the second point. So Jammu Kashmir is the only legislature. Here you have to see one little different thing from it. Pondicherry was introduced by means of 14th Amendment Act. Delhi Legislative Assembly was introduced by means of 69th Amendment Act. They said 239A will apply to Jammu Kashmir. But in the State Reorganization Act, they have got certain twist also. For Delhi, the Delhi legislature cannot enact on land, public order, and police. For Pondicherry, you don't have that restriction. From outside, if we see, they say 239 applies. What do you all believe? So Jammu Kashmir can enact as Pondicherry in land, public order, and police. But State Reorganization Act, Jammu Kashmir State Reorganization Act says you cannot enact. So it is actually a combination of Delhi and Pondicherry provision. But what they have done is 239 applies. But 239A provisions, no. That they have kept in the Jammu Kashmir Reorganization Act. Can you understand what I say? No? I will tell you 239 speaks about Pondicherry. 239AA speaks about Delhi. A. First time I'm listening to 239, sir. If that is the problem, I will come from further basics. 239A speaks about Pondicherry. 239A, another A, 2A speaks about Delhi. 239A introduced by 14th Amendment. 239AA introduced by 69th Amendment. Since Delhi is a national capital territory, important subjects like land, police, and law and order, public order, will be kept with central and not with the state. Whereas in Pondicherry, that is kept with the Pondicherry Legislative Assembly only. In Jammu Kashmir case, they have tactically said one thing. They said 239A will apply. On blind reading, what will you understand? For land, public order, and police, Jammu Kashmir can enact. But the reality is not so. Apart from saying this, they have enacted an act called as Jammu Kashmir Reorganization Act. In that act, they kept this provision. What is there in 239 AA? They say you cannot enact on land, police, and public order. As simple as this, understand? Now, Jammu Kashmir, from outside, if you say, it has Pondicherry provisions. From inside, if you saw, it has the checks of what is there for Delhi also. And Jammu Kashmir is the only state where women is given not reservation. Nomination provided the president, the governor feels they are not represented. Understood? Now tell the answer. 1, 2, and 3. You know why it is in current affairs? And now are you convinced with the fact that current affairs is for 2 years, 3 years? Are you convinced with the fact? Previously they used to ask from when we should start reading. We will say start from June to March. Now they ask June to March, but 2019 June to 2022 March. Month does not change, year only changes. So this you would have been knowing it. Answer is Eva, C. Departmental Standing Committees. Answer is C. Any doubts? We'll go. Consider the following statements regarding Anglo-Indians. After 104th Constitutional Amendment, this has come into discussion. The term Anglo-Indian is defined in Article 366 of the Indian Constitution. True, defined. Seriously defined. The son and daughter of those subjects of British and that are married for, that is, it has been defined in 366. 104th Constitutional Amendment Act sees the nomination of Anglo-Indian to the Parliament and State Legislature. Originally, 331 and 333 article deals with provision for nomination of Anglo-Indian members. 330 and 332 deals with for SC/ST. And both were extended 10 years at a time. And last extension was made in 2010. And after 10 years, it came to 2020. The present government did not say that they don't want to extend, they don't want Anglo-Indians to come. Rather, they said they will enact only for extension of SC/ST. So these are all controversial areas which they did it, like Jammu Kashmir, like Anglo-Indian, like Triple Talaq. They did it without creating any public uproar. Supreme Court said, what is this? Won't you regulate 360? Won't you regulate Triple Talaq? They said, since you do, since you say, we will regulate it. That is how it happened. Do you know that Supreme Court only gave a judgment for 6 months, staying the implication of Triple Talaq? Then they enacted a law. So these are all, I'm not casting any opinion. There is a style of administration. Remember on the first day I said, National Commission for Review of Working of Constitution wanted several changes. But what did Congress do? Congress said, you are trying to saffronize the Constitution, you are trying to reshape the Constitution. Then they did not allow any of the advice recommendations of NCRCW. This government, NDA2, never constituted a committee for it. They did each an individual act. They simply did without touching the, having a committee. 103, 104, 105, 102. Okay, then Triple Talaq, then Anglo-Indian. Think of all those provisions. So this is actually, yeah, I'm telling it to you because you need to understand how governance changes actually. How the Prime Minister, every foreign policy is always identified not with the Foreign Minister, only with the Prime Minister. And you can see a very aggressive foreign policy with regard to Russia. When India took a stand on those areas and how India adopts foreign policies, all these things, for the sake of governance, you must be thorough with. Answer is C. Consider the following statement regarding question hour. It is an effective parliamentary device. Yes, repetition. I know, I will tell you why repetition on Monday. Okay, don't mistake me, that is deliberately kept. I will tell you on Monday. The first past the post system is criticized for not being reflective of popular, not reflective of, reflective of popular vote. Some section of the society is voicing to adopt the proportional representation. Which of the following is or are considered being reason for not adopting proportional representation? How do you say all? How do you justify 1? 2 and 3 only. Morning one guy argued it was in Lakshmikant. That is not the argument. Yes. Is Lakshmikant the Constitution of India? Lakshmikant is a copy of a copy of a copy. There is one book called as Bureaucracy Becoming Crazier, written by Kwa. He is an Principal Secretary to Government of India, retired. He will say why India is so much suffering in its administrative quality is because the IAS officers, IAS is nothing but a reconstrained version of ICS. And Indian IAS officers are nothing but copy of a copy. That is, Indian IAS officers are copy of Indian ICS officers. Indian ICS officers are copy of British ICS officers. He would very beautifully describe in his book, in the introduction itself, how the ICS officers' lifestyle would be. Then how we'll come to wake up, what is his morning routine, then when you'll come to office, hardly 2 hours or 3 hours you'll sit in the office, then lunch, then tennis, then retiring, and how all these things he will tell. And then he will say, the Indian ICS officers copied his pattern. The IAS officers copied their pattern. Similarly, no doubt Lakshmikant is a very good notes. I'm definitely not critic of Lakshmikant because I know personally, as we both were authors of McGraw-Hill. So I'm writing the polity section for that good volume. You know that McGraw-Hill's manual will be there, no? For manual polity, I'm writing. Prior to me, it was Lakshmikant who was writing. So we interact. It is a very good notes. Only difficulty is that if you are very thorough on Lakshmikant, and if you only know Lakshmikant, you will be very weak in governance. That is the only problem. So Lakshmikant has to be one of the source of your reading. To strengthen Lakshmikant, you must know cause and effect of it. What is the cause for this? Tell me. So actually, what is the source of Constitution? To know the real meaning of Constitution, you must look into the constitutional debates, or you must look into the commentaries of legal luminaries, or the judgments of Supreme Court which has interpreted, or the fundamentals of political science or public administration is what you need to understand. Whereas Lakshmikant understand all these things, he has made it as a very comfortable juice for you. So that is the problem. How is it? How will it increase the election expenses? Yes. How will it increase the expenses? You have to previously press one button. Now you have to press 5 buttons. That is the only difference. I have to choose only one person as my MP. Now I have to choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This happened to me when I was a director of a charitable institution. We used to that I don't want to extend the time here. And these kinds of petty arguments, how can you will say it will go for more servicing of EVMs? It will result in purchase of more EVMs. So I don't find a very serious argument in that. So all these things are from newspaper. You just put Indian Express and first past the post system. You will find the answer for it. And in explanation I have given, very well explained how parliamentary form of government cannot take up proportional representation because it will result in unstable government because there will be fractions within. Okay. So for me, answer is 2 and 3. You know me. You can have 1, 2, and 3. But logically, I will show you a lot of mistakes from Lakshmikant. Yesterday I showed you one. And previously Article 312 or 311 was wrongly written. And based on that, UPSC asked a question. Do you know in 2015, Lakshmikant used to carry Indian president have suspensive and qualified. Do you saw that? Next year, UPSC had that question. Do you know? Then Lakshmikant changed it. So any book will have chances of But for me, the most accurate facts is with Lakshmikant, no doubt. But there are one or two factual lack of explanation or a wider interpretation. But this is answer is 2 and 3. I am not going much into that. Going. How? Where there is no need of any system. It is only about calculation. EVM, now you are selecting one individual and you walk off. What is the status of proportional representation? You have to choose, you have to give first preference, you have to give second preference, third preference, fourth preference. It is all about the software where you are going to press. Maybe the expenses on new software, you want to add it as expenditure. It is up to you. And you know me, I don't force. Okay. Consider the following statement regarding subordinate legislation. Subordinate legislation is another very important topic for your mains. Yes or no? Where will it fall in the syllabus? That alone is the question. Yesterday I gave you introduction about subordinate legislation. That is otherwise delegated legislation. Where do you fix delegated legislation in the syllabus? Slightly think more. Separation of power. Separation of power. Parliament cannot enact law. So what they do is, they don't enact law. Rather, Parliament cannot make a very elaborate law. So what they will do is, they will make the framework of the law and ask the executives to implement it. Wherever they want, they can put rules. The rules, the Parent Act itself will say where they can put the rules. I told you already, whatever act you know, there will be a rule for it. If you know Right to Information Act, just check in the online Right to Information rules, it will be there. If you know All India Council for Technical Education Act, then put All India Council Technical Education Act rules. You will have the rules. So every act now, that is why in Britain they said delegated legislation is like Frankenstein monster, which will devour its own creature. Who created it? Parliament created it. Now today, the executive, I had one question which I did not want to have. Of all the three, who is powerful is one question. You know who is powerful? Now executives are powerful. Because of the fact that legislature, executive, judiciary. They have the function of execution. They now take up delegated legislation as their function. From judiciary, they get taken administrative adjudication, tribunals. So if you see closely, in separation of power, there is a question on mains every year, yes or no? Okay. Last year, they asked question from federalism. That day I spoke about it. In separation of power, how many topics you can choose? If I ask you separation of power, most of you will say judicial review, judicial activism. Yes or no? That will bring it here. Questions have come enough. Do you see a lot of questions are coming from tribunals nowadays in mains? Can you see? Do you understand why? And all the tribunals questions will not be a neutral question. They will only ask you, tribunals think themselves as high courts. The meaning of it will be like this. Tribunals encroach upon the arena of high courts. But tribunal cannot do it. Do you go and see the questions? 2019. And similarly, in legislature, you have delegated legislation between executive and legislature. And between legislature and executive, what will you say? MP lads, Member of Parliament, Local Area Development Scheme. Is it not violating separation of power? Office of Profit. Is it not violating separation of power? Ordinance making of the executives. Is it not violating separation of power? Pardoning power of president. Now say who is powerful. But if I put it in the question, this will happen like my governance demo. So I don't want to put those kinds of questions into it. But I want to explain it for not for the point to make this understand. This alone is required for if you are going to have three pages or four pages notes on every topic. Separation of power question, you can manage it means. Like that federalism, I gave you a list of topics on federalism that day. Like that actually means is very easy if you're strong in prelims polity. But most of us trust only Lakshmikant. You cannot explore new things in this. That is why I used to say, do not read these micro grouping, not micro grouping. What is that? Micro syllabusing, micro topics. All these things, what it will do, no, it will completely curtail your ability to think beyond. You have to go for your own original source of understanding, then you have to add to it. So that is the problem. What happens now is, now you blindly say, Sir Lakshmikant says. Have you justified yourself with it? You cannot, because you don't have a base for Lakshmikant. Lakshmikant is a juice. Which is better, juice or a fruit? Which is easier to eat? Fruit or juice? Juice. You understand what you do? So the fact is this, no doubt, I am very much impressed about the way Mr. Lakshmikant has made the notes. But the fact is, you are actually becoming very weak in governance because trusting Lakshmikant alone. You add only 1 or 2 books. Be strong in NCERT 6th to 12th. Then add Subhash Kashyap. Then you can understand what all happens around you in governance. So it is as simple as this. Without being strong in governance, you cannot think of coming within top 50. And once governance became easy, the whole mains became easy. Because governance is the fulcrum mains. Do you know that? The whole syllabus. Paper 2, full of governance. Ethics, 50% is governance. What do you say is internal security? Is it not governance? Yes or no? Internal security is governance. Disaster management is governance. In society, problems is by what is in the society. But solution to the problem is predominantly from governance, human empowerment, urbanization, and schemes on urbanization. Then what do Narendra Modi do, or what do Nirmala Sitharaman do? Is Nirmala Sitharaman an economist or an administrator? So in mains economics area, again 30 to 40% is from governance. Unless and until you have a natural wholly orientation towards governance, you will not feel comfortable in mains questions. So I asked you a very simple question. Where will you fix delegated legislation in the syllabus? That was the simple question. So it is actually a matter of basic orientation. So it is not something which you cannot touch. You can clearly have a roadmap of it. With this roadmap, you can fix has not question come on ordinance. So there is a reason for ordinance question. Has not question come on paradigm power of president. You go today, make a small homework. They would have asked the ordinance question or not how ordinance is being made. They will only ask question, why executive is conferred ordinance making power. They would not have asked question, what is pardoning power. They would have asked only about regularizing the pardoning power because it is violation of separation of power. They have not asked on MP lads. They have not asked on office of profit. So far from separation of power perspective. So it is as simple as this. Every topic, you just need to brainstorm for 15 minutes, then work on it for 1 week to 10 days. Then you will have very good content for your own examination. So I'm going back to this. So it is not possible for Parliament to deliberate upon details of. So this is what subordinate legislation is. So that is what subordinate legislation is. The Parliament can authorize an executive to impose a fees by rules. Again, a tough question only. I have not touched that question. Fees by means of delegated legislation can happen. Tax cannot happen. Can you understand? Fees alone, fees can happen, but not tax. A separate parliamentary standing committee is constituted every year to monitor the implementation of subordinate legislation. This you would have seen in Lakshmikant. Yes or no? 1 from Lakshmikant, 2 from outside. It is there in Lakshmikant, Committee on Subordinate Legislation. Answer is 1, 2, and 3. Which of the following will come under Consolidated Fund of India? Will not come. Yes. This is also a ticklish choice. What is the answer? Post office savings account and fines will come into. Then where will go? There are three accounts. What is public account? People's money. Is fine a people money? Will it go back to the people? He is now confused. Now that is the simple logic. I am teaching you the logic. I don't know how to teach you how to eliminate, but I know how to teach you to arrive to a conclusion. So idea is this. There are three accounts. One, Consolidated Fund of India. Two, Contingency Fund of India. Three, Public Account Fund of India. Consolidated Fund of India, what is the general meaning of it? All receipts and expenditure from Consolidated Fund of India into Consolidated Fund of India. Contingency Fund is also from Consolidated Fund of India only, because they have to pass an act for it. So Consolidated Fund of India is a constitutional body, that you will know. Contingency Fund of India is not a constitutional body, that you know. Constitutional authority, constitutional fund. Public account is a constitutional fund. What are the types of money go into it? All those public money. One is post office savings. Other is excesses of LIC, like unclaimed money of LIC and others. Then assuming I am a minor in the sense I am an coal industry owner, assuming I have violated environment laws, they imposed a fine of 100 crores on me. I pay the 100 crores. Where the 100 crores will go? You think about your license fine, you think about your mask fine. So think of those 100 crores fine. Where will that 100 crores has to go? So that is called as Consolidated Fund of India extra receipt. That is called as extra receipt. In explanation, I have given it very clearly. That is called as Consolidated Fund of India extra receipts. So this is a receipt. Common sense, yes or no? And this is post office savings. It has to go to people. Answer is 3 only. Okay. Who among the following has the ultimate power to make the government to stay in power after election to the State Legislative Assembly? Again, C only. C only. Yes, but who it will reinstate? The question is ultimate power for stay in power after the elections. Who? After elections, who will decide who is the government? Yesterday, the rule is members of Legislative Assembly, exceptionally Supreme Court, and this statement is not mine. This is Shivraj Chauhan case, no? Shivraj Chauhan's case of Haryana. So the statement is from there. They said, Governor, you don't have the authority to decide who should be in power. The power should lie with the members of the Legislative Assembly. That is what Subbarao case is, not Subbarao, that SR Bommai case is also all about. SR Bommai, what do they say? You cannot dissolve a government without having a floor test. Yes, and again, what for? Again, where they will go for? Again, floor test. Ultimate power. Supreme Court did it in Arunachal Pradesh. What did happen? Could they make it survive? Why? They don't have the support of members of Legislative Assembly. So who is the ultimate authority on that? To make you stay? Yes. So this is from Shivraj Chauhan case. You can check in the newspaper. What is Shivraj Chauhan case? The same thing will come. Ultimate power lies in the people. That is what we call as doctrine of public trust. I don't want to explain it here. Consider the following statement. Again. A person who is convicted under Prevention of Corruption Act is disqualified to contest in an election for 6 years from the date of release. Yes. After date of release, not from the date of conviction. For recently, Mrs. Sasikala in Tamil Nadu got released. She has to wait for 6 years to contest. Since a non-legislator can become a chief minister, a person who is convicted under the Prevention of Corruption Act can be appointed as the chief minister. No, that is Jayalalitha's case. You cannot be appointed because you cannot file a nomination. Third, the period of disqualification to contest the election under the Representation of People Act 1951 can be removed or reduced by Election Commission. That is Section 11. That is Sikkim Chief Minister. Remember 2020, Sikkim Chief Minister, Tawang or somebody, I forgot his name. Sikkim Chief Minister, he was convicted in 2018. Until 1 year, 2019, he undergone the conviction. In 2019, he wanted to contest in the election. He applied for an reprieve from the election commissioner. The election commission was severely criticized all over India for that because they allowed the person to contest election because Section 11 says the election commission has the power to do it. And this was a question in UPSC mains in 2019. You just check what all facts I say. You have to check at take 2009. If you want to check now, take 2019 governance question paper. Mains. This is a mains question. Mains question they've asked. Then you also put in newspaper, Section 11, Representation of People Act. It will come that Sikkim Chief Minister has been given the reprieve. So for that only they criticized the Election Commission of India so badly. So you will check in the home so that you will not have the fear that we are taking something which is completely out of context. So please check whatever I say. No, that will not apply. That is Jayalalitha's case. No. Yeah, that is what Fatima Bibi argued when she is the governor of Tamil Nadu. Remember, Jayalalitha was appointed in that time. Most of you would have born that year in 2002. So, after 3 years, 4 years, in 2002, this happened. That is Jayalalitha's case, where she was removed unceremoniously from the post. First chief minister to be thrown out of the post when she was acting as a chief minister. So you just check that also. Okay, that is because this is a news in Indian Express 2020. Okay. Any doubts in this? This is Section 11. Sikkim Chief Minister. This is Jayalalitha. This is 2021 news. Okay. Answer. What is the? I'll confuse myself. C. 1 and 3 only. Consider the following statement regarding privilege motion. The breach of privilege can be issued against both members and non-members of the House. Yes, any doubts in it? No argument. The Parliament can even send a person to prison for breach of privilege. Yes, any doubts? Doubts, counter-argument? No. Consider the following statement regarding Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha polls have a system of open ballot. True. A candidate for Rajya Sabha election has to be resident of the same state from where he is getting elected. No. You know the history behind it? Originally, it was secret ballot. Originally, he has to be from the state. It was amended by NDA 1. You know why it happened? A person from Karnataka, the Kingfisher, Mr. Kingfisher, Vijay Mallya. Vijay Mallya wanted to become the MP of Rajya Sabha through Karnataka. He requested the then BJP government. BJP said, assume if I give you the chance, what will be our name? In the system, he cannot give. Same said the Congress. Then he contested the election. Nobody was very serious about Vijay Mallya's contest. Finally, he got one. It seems he has distributed Kingfisher to all. Okay. So we don't know how he won. He has won. So that was actually an insult for the whole party system in India, because there were at that time the two major parties. One is BJP, other is Congress. Both of them were against him, but he could able to manage to come. That is how he came. Then there was one Mr. Jana Krishnamurthy, who was previously our he is erstwhile Law Minister of India, and he used to contest election right from 1970s. Never he has won an election because he was from Tamil Nadu. From Tamil Nadu, there is no chance of BJP having a direct MP. It is not an easy joke in Tamil Nadu. You would have seen Rahul Gandhi now. So, Jana Krishnamurthy belongs to my constituency. He used to contest every election, he never wins. Then Vajpayee, and he was also president of BJP. Vajpayee and Advani were in a very good opinion, good taste for the relationship. They wanted to make him as the law minister. So they amended the Representation of People Act, both. So to get the insult undone, they made it as open ballot. And to bring in Jana Krishnamurthy as law minister, they did it. Then they brought him from Gujarat. And that was challenged by Kuldeep Singh in Supreme Court. Supreme Court will say, Constitution allows Parliament to regulate the election. When the Constitution allows Parliament to regulate election, by virtue of that, RP Act has come. Then will not Parliament have the right to change it? That was the argument. Advanced, and the Supreme Court accepted it. So they said, answer is this. Now, what is the answer for it? A. The object of the motion is to draw the attention. The object of the question is to distract your attention. What was the answer you put? A big statement, and you have to choose. Answer is adjournment motion. Okay. If you would have opted for censure motion, morning one guy opted for no confidence motion. Oh, yeah. So answer is C. Consider the following statement regarding composition of the Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council. The Constitution sets for the upper limit on the strength of legislative assemblies. 500, Article 170. Yes or no? And minimum strength is 60. Yes, sir, we read Parliament thoroughly, but not state legislature. We have the total number of seats in the Legislative Council of State. Having such a council shall not exceed 2/3 of the total number of members in the Legislative Assembly of the state. 1/3. The composition of the state legislature are fixed by the President. Parliament. That is Delimitation Commission. The acts, sections governing 170. Answer is A. Incorrect. 2 and 3. You know why MP Lads is in current affairs? It has been reintroduced. The object of the scheme is to create durable community assets based on locally felt needs. Yes or no? The implementation of the project under the scheme is monitored by the respective members of the Parliament. By the district collector. Monitored by the district collector. Nodal agency is Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs and Ministry of Statistics. So, monitored by district collector. Fund under the scheme can be used to buy smartphones to the poor students for attending online class. No. Answer is 1 only. District collector is the person who nodal agency is the Ministry of Statistics. That is the distinction given by Supreme Court. Supreme Court said there is a case filed that this is violating separation of power. Supreme Court said no, the MP only has the power to recommend, and accepting it, rejecting it, and going, everything is that of the district collector. And nodal agency, coordinating agency is the statistics, and they will not do anything except releasing the fund. Can you understand? So implementation of it, right, wrong, everything is done only by the district collector. Because you cannot give smartphones. Have you seen the rules of one time when MP was my client and they wanted me certain advice on that where they wanted to go for full publication of all the 5 crores. That time I read, you cannot use all the money for everything. There are lots and lots and lots of conditions. The conditions runs for 4 to 5 pages. If you want to go for printing, you cannot go beyond 2 lakhs. If you go for this, go for that, there is a clear restrictions on that. What you can buy, what you cannot do. So smartphones you cannot buy. There is a list. Only within the list you have to do. You cannot go beyond that. Then we know what you will do with the smartphones. You will buy in the name of school children. 200 smartphones will be bought. Not only for party cadres, for corruption in voting, for reselling. I'm shocked to understand how the MP-led functions. You know, there are brokers who will be in charge of 10 to 20 minister MPs. They will take charge of all. 25% direct cut. That is a rumor. Because it is a recording session, I cannot say it as. This is how it operates. They say like this. There are brokers who will pay up to 25%. And then they will take charge of doing it. And they know the calculations. They know which district, how to do, where to do. They know all the paperwork. And that is how it is. When MP-led fund was increased to 2 crores to 5 crores, the Hindu, Indian Express, everybody shouted aloud that why you are unnecessarily increasing a scheme which is so corrupt. When you scrapped it because of COVID, they all shouted, why are you scrapping a scheme which is on the ground very important to implement? This is how media works. That is what the nature of civil society, if we see, in America, civil society will work with the government. Whereas in countries like India and developing countries, they predominantly work against the government. That is a question also you can understand for your means. Fund under a scheme can be used to buy smart. Answer is yeah. And next comes the most disputed question for argument. What is the answer for this? Delhi. You know why? According to Salaries and Allowances of Leaders of Opposition and Parliament Act 1977, the leader of opposition is fine. The salary, all these things are being said. That is the controversy happened in 2021, 2020. The controversy is that they say single largest party. But the speaker has to identify based on what? How is the 10% comes? That is the question. That is not, I said the second is also wrong. That is what we call as Mavlankar rule. You would have heard about Mavlankar rule. That was also a newspaper. What is Mavlankar rule? Mavlankar rule was very simple. Mavlankar was the first speaker of India. Okay, Article 118 says, rules of business of the House can draft. And Article 118 says, wherever the rules of the business does not say anything, speaker is final. Then rules of business is drafted. One provision of rules of business also says, when anything is absent in the rules of business, then you can resort to the speaker. The speaker will give clarifications. Then Mavlankar gave clarification stating that what constitutes a parliamentary party. Then again required a clarification, what should be the strength of the parliamentary party. Then he again gave a second clarification where he said, whichever party has a number of members to satisfy the quorum, they can be considered as a parliamentary party. Can you understand what I say? About what is the quorum of parliament? 10%. About whichever party has 10% can be declared as parliamentary party. Any party has 10% now. If they does not have, then you cannot declare them as a parliamentary party. When they does not qualify to be a parliamentary party, how can you demand for opposition leadership? This was the whole argument. Put Mavlankar rule, Indian Express. So I don't want the bad name that either I speak too much or take something out of context. So everything is in, all came in 2020, 2021. Okay, you just check for yourself. So Mavlankar rule is the basis for classification. So it is not the act. The appointment of leaders of opposition in the House of Parliament is based on discretion of the Speaker of Lok Sabha and Chairman of Rajya Sabha? No. Based on Mavlankar rule. Which are the following union territories are representation in Rajya Sabha? Pondicherry, how many? 1. Delhi. 3. Jammu Kashmir. 4. Ladakh. No. Previously, one of our candidate who studied with us in Chennai, this Prasanna Ramasamy, was the district magistrate of Leh. I visited Leh those days. Leh was used to be a very pleasant place. Nobody would be there. In February and all, you can walk in the Zaskar River. It will be so pleasant. I recently asked 1.5 years before, how is Leh now? He said, sir, fortunate I was a district collector during those periods. Now, the place where I stayed as a guest house is the governor's bungalow. The next compound is collector's compound. When governor is in the next compound, what will the position of the collector? A chief secretary will be there. 7 to 8 IAS officers of senior cadre will be there. And director level 7 to 8 officers will be there. So now district collector would be reduced to the level of a tahsildar. He was saying the Leh is not as pleasant as before. And Leh is such a small district. District size, it is bigger than Kerala. But the town is so small. Just 5 minutes to 15 minutes, you can come around the whole, 15 minutes, you can come around the whole town when it is not in the season. So he was saying like that, Ladakh made us a union territory and completely now lost its charm as an administrative unit. And Ladakh is, you can have Ladakh as an example of near corrupt-free administration because they have a population of nearly 1.5 lakhs or 2 lakhs, where the community will reinforce the values on all. If somebody is understood to be corrupt, who comes from Jammu Kashmir, they will go meet him and then request him that please don't do it. Ladakh is a place where resources are very less. It has got 5th schedule status, no? So you'll have a council, autonomous council there functioning. The councillors will go with people and convince them not to do it. So like that, nearly 99% it is corrupt-free. So you can have it as an example for somewhere in ethics where community moral reinforcement on these areas. Consider the following statements regarding powers of Speaker of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. What? The Secretary General is appointed by the Chairman in case of Rajya Sabha and Speaker in case of Lok Sabha and holds a rank equivalent to Cabinet Secretary. Yes. All notices and rules are required to be addressed to Secretary General. Yes. Facts. No argument. Both 1 and 2. Know that. Do not get, stressed on knowing certain new facts, because that is how UPSC question will also be. Be sportive and start learning it. Think that you are adding to what you already know. That is the best way to clear UPSC, because even certain things which you have read in the morning will come. Okay, that is how the spirit of you should be. Both the speed. Today I can see visibly the classes on a more silent mode. So maybe the question may have given you little stress, but that is not the way you will treat. Immediately after the class is over, you must bounce back to your normal position and read whatever you want to read. Because all of you are reading NCERT, all of you are reading Lakshmikant, all of you are reading Spectrum, all of you are reading Coaching Liang, but still question comes out of it. So just because you are exposed to a tougher environment, don't think you are the chance of clearing is less. Actually, exposing you to tougher environment, your chance of clearing is increasing. guaranteeing you out of my discussion, you will answer at least 3 to 4 questions. You will remember me during the exam. You just see, and history will be like that, geography will be like that. You just experience that, and we'll talk after prelims. After prelims, we'll have the discussion. The disqualification of members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha by anti-defection law is determined by the speaker and chairman respectively. Yes or no? Both will have the same power in suspending a member who conduct is disorderly in nature. What is the difference? I know you have kept a twist in this point, sir. I don't know what is the twist. But power, as far as suspending a member is concerned, the power for suspending the member is concerned, the vice president does not have the power to suspend. Rajya Sabha chairman cannot suspend. Lok Sabha speaker can suspend. Then what can Rajya Sabha speaker do? He can refer it to the house. Recently this happened, no? Somebody torn the bill and thrown it on the chair. The next day he passed the resolution, and based on the resolution he suspended the members. Remember, say yes or no. No problem, even it is no. I will tell you better. So what happened? That is what happened. And here he cannot suspend because he is not the member of the house. Can you understand? That is the fundamental logic. He is not the member of the house. This is also current affairs. Tell me. That day deputy chairman said. He did not sit. He introduced it. The assembly, but the law Rajya Sabha passed it. Deputy chairman carried out the order. It is not deputy chairman's discretion to do. Okay, it is only in Rajya Sabha. That is what the rule 256 of Rajya Sabha. I don't want to go too technical into it. Okay, you can see it in newspaper again. Suspension of a member, the Hindu. Suspension of a member, Rajya Sabha, Indian Express. You will have an article on that. Okay, it is current affairs. Consider the following statement regarding parliamentary committee. What is the answer? What is the question? 1 and 2 only. 1 and 2. Parliamentary committee or platform for discussion on proposed law, and chair of the house can have the discretion to refer the bill to parliamentary committee for scrutiny. Yes. Parliamentary committee are considered to be more democratic as the members are not bound by party whip. Yes. Consider the following statement regarding no confidence motion. Again, both confidence motion and no confidence are mentioned in the rules of procedure for Lok Sabha. Lakshmikant, the answer is there. What answer? No confidence motion can be passed against an individual minister. So answer is neither 1 nor 2. Why? Operation success. But is patient alive? You have to tell the reason. If the reason is right, patient is alive. Otherwise, operation success, patient dead. Tell me, what is the reason? No confidence motion as mentioned in rules of business. Confidence motion is not there. Day before yesterday, I told you, no? Confidence motion is by the governor. Okay, when he wants to do, he will ask. Whereas no confidence motion, opposition party can come. So next. Because the following statement regarding anti-defection. A person who is disqualified under anti-defection law cannot be appointed as minister until he is re-elected. Yes. Yes. No. 6 months, no. I don't know why you, no 6 months. There are only 2 rules. Either he must be re-elected or the term of the assembly should be over. Or term of the Lok Sabha should be over. No 6 months rule. That is for attending an Infosys interview after first interview fails. The anti-defection law will be applicable to members of political party, independent candidates and nominated members in the Legislative Assembly and Parliament. Both 1 and 2. Next question. Which of the following provisions are necessary to declaring a bill a money bill? 1. Imposition of fines. 2. Imposition of tax. Yes. Appropriation of money from consolidated fund. Payment of fees for service. No. Answer is 2 and 3. Consider the following statement regarding parliamentary control over finance. The executive cannot raise money by taxation without the authority of parliament. That is Article 265. No taxation without representation is Article 265. The parliament can impose any tax without the recommendation of the executive. That is the fundamental of taxation. That is the fundamental of taxation or budgeting. The executive demands, the legislature sanctions. So that is the logic. So America is the only country where the legislature will have the right to increase the tax without a demand from the executive. In modern times, the executive and legislative policies are initiated by the following institutions. Any doubts in that? Any doubts? What is the answer? Cabinet. Which current affairs, sir? Often, cabinet decides to introduce this bill. Cabinet decides to withdraw the bill. Cabinet decides to introduce all these bills in this session. Cabinet has decided to have this session this time. Can you remember? Yes or no? Answer is C. Consider the following statement regarding Speaker of Lok Sabha. The Speaker's conduct regarding maintaining order in the House does not fall into the jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Which article? 121. Speaker has authority to decide a bill as a money bill. 110. Answer both. The term parliamentary privilege is defined in the Constitution as governed by the Breach of Privilege Act. Then governed by which act? No act. That's it. This is only a fake act. No such act. The Speaker of the House can issue arrest warrant against a person against the breach of parliamentary privilege. Yes. Article 105 categorically says when you want to codify the parliamentary privileges, you can codify it by means of parliamentary law. But they don't want to codify because their power will go. They will get restricted. Answer is B. Next, consider the following statement. The chairman of Rajya Sabha can name an unruly person. Which question? Can name an unruly person who will stand automatically suspended on the service of the House on naming. That is what I said. A reputation. If a member of parliament or state legislative assembly refuses to adhere to the rules of the House, the presiding of the House can suspend the member for indefinite period. That is now in Maharashtra recently. How many of you are here from Maharashtra? When I ask randomly, everybody is from Maharashtra. That was my doubt. I used to mark with my friends here. It should be termed as mini Maharashtra Nagar instead of Rajendra Nagar. So many people from Maharashtra comes now here. If a member of parliament or state legislative assembly refuses to adhere to the rules of the House, that is what happened in Maharashtra. A BJP member was suspended and then for 1 year, the court's asking them the question that how can you suspend somebody beyond 6 months when the parliament itself and the constitution itself wants a representation for every 6 months. That is done by means of there should not be a gap of more than 6 months between two houses. So answer is neither one nor two. With reference to privilege of members of parliament, consider the following statement. When the parliament is in recess, a cabinet minister can be arrested by state police Formal criminal case. Which state it happened recently? Maharashtra. The powers, privileges, and immunities of the members of parliament can be defined by president in consultation with the presiding officer of the house. That is by parliament by law. That is Article 105. Constitution bars charge-sheeted persons from being appointed as council of ministers. No. So answer is A only. With reference to division voting in the parliament, consider the following statements. Constitutional amendment bill shall have passed by division voting. Yes, because they have to know who voted for what. The only two methods of the conducting division voting are by operating automatic voice recorder or by going by lobbies. There is also an automated machine route. So one is machine, other is voice vote, and third is lobbying. So there are three ways. So the answer is wrong. When a division is taken, a member of the other house who is a minister can be present in the house, though he or she has no right to vote. So answer is yes. Division voting is recording what you vote. So that will be recorded by either means. So that you don't vote against the party's whip. Voice vote is, you will raise the hand. That is one voting. You know, yes and no's. There will be two things. So another is record it. So that we'll know whether you follow the whip's voting or not. Again, this is also Indian Express. Division of voting, Hindu Indian Express, both as. Only thing is days are different. And you, most of you are now member in our governance group. Now we have a governance group for Telegram. And we also have an AIM Civil group or Town Hall group. Every day we put newspaper current affairs in it. Questions, there were two questions, five questions. We have consultation of it. So we have every day our team would be working on material preparation for society, material preparation for governance. Today's newspaper, 2 articles. We'll take up governance and we'll do it. So when we set the question, we'll only see into what are all the relevant current affairs, like that history. So you will understand that when the history faculty takes or the geography faculty takes. So the art of questions now is that they beautifully merge current affairs into conventional areas. Did you saw that? So there was a question one time, right to marriage. Which article is that? Article 21. That was the year where article section 377 was struck down. So everyone was concentrating on 377. Same-sex marriage. But they was asking about article 21 and right to marry. Can you understand what I say? So the whole idea of this test batch is to not to irritate you. It is to give you a real-time experience. Do not get dejected. That is what my request would be. That is the only simple thing. You have to have the attitude of learning what may come, what may go. That is the only way these kinds of examination can be cleared. If you think you will finish the syllabus, master the syllabus, and then you will go and write the examination, you will never get the day. Yes or no? In Tamil, there is a famous saying, don't try to wait for the waves to stop to take bath. Waves will never stop. If you wait for it, you will never take bath. So you don't think that you may be in some state depressed when it comes to preparation. Sometime you may be very elated when you are very happy. What you should not do is when you are happy reading, you must continue reading. Most of the students, what they will do is when they are happy reading, they will start, go out, meet friends and come back. But actually, have you seen that 2 days, if you read 4 days, it will go. One day you read 3 days, you may spoil 3 days. But that one day you must use properly, automatically that will move. When you are in a good mood to read, push it on. Similarly, stress should only be a motivator. Stress cannot demotivate. Stress demotivates, then your personality is weak. Stress motivates, then it is an indication that your personality is strong. So naturally, it is all about between 21 to 30 is the time where your real personality is going to be shaped. That is what people say in psychology as internalization of values. So now we must believe in hard work. Now we must believe in serious merit. Now you must believe in taking up all tasks to win. Automatically, you will win in life at one point of time. The passage of cut motion on the budget may lead to, sorry, what is the question? Yes, 33. In Rajya Sabha, only the budget is stable and not discussed. In Rajya Sabha, the budget is tabled, discussed, not voted. The passage of cut motion on budget in Lok Sabha may lead to resignation of the government. The word here important is may. You know why may? Because there are three types of cut motion. One cut motion is policy cut motion. That naturally resignation will come. Censure, other cut motion is token cut motion. That is only to express the displeasure. There you don't need to resign. Another cut motion is not censure, that expenditure to be reduced. Economic cut motion. In economic cut motion, you don't need to resign. Yes or no? So, economic cut motion is only about reducing the expenditure. Answer is B only. Which are the following is considered to be limitations of Rajya Sabha when compared to Lok Sabha. A money bill cannot be introduced in Rajya Sabha. A constitutional amendment bill cannot be introduced in Rajya Sabha. No. The Council of Ministers is responsible only to the Lok Sabha, not Rajya Sabha. Answer is yeah. There was a doubt by the two candidates after first batch where they asked, why sir, ministers are answerable even to Rajya Sabha, only removal is not possible actually. That applies when it is individual ministers, it is Council of Ministers. When it comes to Council of Ministers, it is only Lok Sabha. Consider the following statement regarding Indian Parliament. When compared to India, the upper house of USA, the Senate is stronger compared to lower house. How do you say yes? Because there, the treaties has to be ratified by the Senate. Higher appointments has to be ratified by the Senate. Declaration of war has to be ratified by the Senate. Lot of functions they have. Lok Sabha is more representative than Rajya Sabha and reflects current public opinion. Yes. Which are the following limits the sovereignty of Indian Parliament? All the four we discussed already. Which are the following describes the India Code Information System? Consider the following statement regarding Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha. It is a constitutional post. Yes. 89 article. The tenure of Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha is coterminous with the membership of the House. Yes. Answer is C. Consider the following statement regarding the candidates for MLAs and MP election. The political parties has to publish the criminal background of the contestant in both social and mass media. That is, yes, that is Association of Democratic Rights latest judgment. Just before 2019 election, this came. You say 2004, 2003, there was a judgment. That was also Association of Democratic Rights, where they said you must only give it. And in 2019, they said, you must not only give the information to the returning officer, you must also publish it in social media. And the returning officer must also publish in the local newspaper. And the expenditures happening should be calculated in the expenditure of the contestant. And the government must also explain, not the government, the political party must also give a statement why he is being preferred against others who are not criminals. What is so special with this criminal to be made to contest? So the candidates has to declare the assets of his or spouse dependent children? Answer is D. Remote voting system. This is now a process discussed by Election Commission. Election Commission wants to link Aadhaar with voting so that you can vote from anywhere. You don't need to go for voting from ORN to your native. Generally, people go no nowadays. That day, the governor student, I called him that I have come to Delhi. He says, sir, I'm at UP, sir. Election is going on. So once that is done, you don't need to do that. You can vote from any part of India. Answer is B for that. Consider the following statement. On the grounds of loss of trust. 41. On the grounds of loss of trust on the Council of Ministers, the no confidence motion is moved in the Lok Sabha. No reason. The speaker can refuse to admit the motion? Yes. Yes. Speaker cannot say no. Can say no. Sorry. Nobody can say speaker should allow. Speaker says no. No only. Adjournment motion, Venkaiah Naidu said no. Get lost. Remember, when they tore the paper, he said, I'm not allowing adjournment motion. Do whatever you want. So the same case, no confidence motion also. That is Article 121 otherwise. Speaker is all powerful. That is another area for discussion. Whether speaker's power needs to be codified. Speaker says, yes, now any motion has to get the approval of speaker. Now assuming we have lost the confidence, speaker does not want to do it. What is your remedy? Guess. Supreme Court only. Again. Or else President has to refer it to Supreme Court at 143 only. Final interpreter of Constitution. The first no confidence motion was brought against Jawaharlal Nehru, yes, 1963. B. Consider the following statement regarding languages in Indian Parliament. According to the Constitution, the business in the Parliament shall be transacted only in English or Hindi. As of now, with the permission of the chairman or speaker, an MP can speak in all the 22 languages listed in each schedule. Okay, answer is both 1 and 2. You may have doubt whether it is mother tongue or all the 22 languages. 22 languages, they want mother tongue also, but this statement is not wrong. Okay, so answer is both 1 and 2. Consider the following statement regarding office of profit. The concept of holding an office of profit by an MLA or an MP violated the principle of separation of power. Yes. How? You are a legislator. You are a legislator. You have been here with the primary function of controlling the executive. And if you are given a post by the executive, assuming you are an MP and you are given as the director or chairman of Central Pollution Control Board, you would be given a car, you would be given a driver, you would be given an office, you would be given a system. Do you think you will effectively establish a control over executive? So that is what it is. So Jaya Bachchan case is the reference case for it. Where the Supreme Court said it is the substance. It is the substance of what you give and not what has been given. So that is what this is. The Constitution itself prohibits an MP or an MLA to hold any office of profit. Yes, Article 102. Consider the following statement or consider it to be for the reasons to choose parliamentary form of government. What is the answer? All the above, 1, 2, 3, 4. Consider the following statement regarding anti-defection law. The anti-defection law will not be applicable to the speaker and deputy speaker, even if they resign from the political party on whose ticket They won. Yes. The order of the speaker is subject to judicial review. Yes. A member expelled from party is disqualified under 10th schedule. No. Yeah, because expel member, I want to be in party. You throw me out of party. What can I do? Recently happened. Sasikala Pushpa of AADMK. That was the last expelled member. She continued to be a member till her post is over. But the expelled member must only vote as per the direction of the party. The party may not say, party may have sent you out. But that does not mean you can vote as you are. That we call it as unattached member. A member expelled from the party is called the unattached member, who needs to obey the party lines to continue as members of the house. Understood? Not understood. What not understood? I will tell you what is anti-defection. If you voluntarily give up a party's post, or if you does not listen to what party says, you can be disqualified. Assuming you are a member and you got the seat out of a party, and the party expels you out of it, what is your wrong? If party expels you, your MP post will go. It will not. But if you go out of party, your party post will go. That is the law. So if I go out of party, my party post will go. But if you send me out of party, my MP post will not go. This is what we call it as unattached member. But that does not confer me right. Just because party has thrown me out of party, I cannot go and join the opposition and vote. If I do that, they will again say it as voluntarily giving up the membership of party. Now you understand? Yes? Answer is 1, 2, and 4. Consider the following statement regarding Indian Parliament. The appropriation bill must be passed by both houses of Parliament before it can be enacted into a law. Yes or no? Common sense. When a bill will become act, both houses has to pass and has to be signed. Appropriation bill is a money bill. Even if it goes to Rajya Sabha has a limited role to play. If Rajya Sabha does not pass, it is deemed to be passed. Finance bill is required for proposing new taxes, but no additional bill or act. Money, what is this? Second, no money shall be withdrawn from the Conservative Fund of India except on the appropriation made by the Appropriation Act. Finance bill is required for proposing new tax, but no additional bill or act is required for making changes in the rate of taxes which are already under operation. Wrong. Actually, there is a confusion for this. I have said I will clarify it for the previous batch. I kept it with the intention of making it as wrong. But people ask me, then what is the GST, sir? The GST Council raises it, GST Council reduces it. What I understand is, you cannot increase it, you can reduce it. So, but recently 5% they reduce. I said I will verify with tax experts and do it. One more thing I want to say. Last batch people was having a doubt that I am a lawyer and not associated with civil service. No, I went for interview 4 times, gave 6 attempts. So I'm just telling you, I'm also a candidate because in the last batch people asked me, sir, you also gave attempt, like that they asked. This actually, principally, I am from civil service field. No money bill can be introduced except on the recommendation of the president. Yes. Answer is for me 1, 2, 3, 4. For you also 1, 2, 3, 4, but I will clarify that point with regard to GST. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 4. But people are at a doubt. So 1, 2, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. I will clarify the doubt. Only when the guy asked me the doubt, I am also being prompted with the same doubt. I will clarify and tell. Voting on demand for grant is an exclusive function of Lok Sabha. This voting is confined to the expenditure that includes 1, expenditures charged on the Conservative Fund of India, the expenditure made from the Conservative Fund of India. Answer is Tell me which article says expenditure made from the Conservative Fund of India need not be voted. Tell me which article says what are the expenditures charged on the Conservative Fund of India. Tell me which article says this needs to be shown separately. Read Article 112, Article 113 and 114. 112 says what are all the expenditures that needs to be charged on the Conservative Fund of India. 114 says that Conservative Fund of India charged expenditure need not be voted. Answer is B. What powers the state legislature has with respect to the language? The presiding officer can permit a member to address his house in mother tongue. Yes. It does not have the authority to decide on the continuation of English as a foreign language. Yes, it has. First 15 years it does not have. After 15 years it has. Yes or no? (49) Consider the following statement. The member of the ruling dispensation who is not a minister can be a private member. Yes. A private member can introduce any number of bills during a parliamentary session. No. 3 bills. Okay. Any number of bills? No. During a session, he can given 3 bills. Okay. Answer is 1 only. Consider the following statement on the power of legislature. Last question. The state legislature is only competent authority to shift, bifurcate the location of capital city of the state. No. States Reorganization Act says it has to get the approval of central authority, central government. So they can only recommend. The government has to accept because everything changes now. Because based on the state capital, they have to change the judiciary, where the judiciary is seated, where the secretariat will be seated, and what is the communication address, and everything has to happen. Then they will circulate it to post office. The postal department has to permit. There are a few departments which will be circulated, and those departments has to accept it. Then only even the name change of name from Calcutta to Kolkata, Chennai to Madras to Chennai, Bombay to Mumbai, all happens only with the concurrence of central government. The state legislature is competent to establish a permanent bench of Madras High Court? No. In Maharashtra, you have circuit bench at where? Pune. Nagpur, Pune, both. In Tamil Nadu, you have it at Madras, Madurai. For Calcutta, you have it at Jammu, Andaman Nicobar. One of the best official residence so far I have seen is the circuit bench High Court judges house at Port Blair. Directly on the sea, hedging the sea it would be. Answer is neither one nor two. Okay. So Monday, there will be, all of you have got the schedule now? Monday schedule is on history. Those who don't have the schedule, collect the schedule. On Monday history, please attend the test. He would be very informative. Only in polity you have these kinds of discussions where is there or not there, whereas history and geography will also you have little confrontation, but history you can learn a lot. Modern India is one area where you struggle to score marks. So history, modern India, environment, polity are the most essential subjects which will definitely make you clear. So do not skip the test. What is that? A member of the ruling dispensation who is not a minister can be called a separate member. Yes. Yes, but the statement is not wrong. You are my brother. That does not mean he is not my brother. Yes. Okay.